I'm about to go do the biggest Pokemon deal of my life, so I see you there. Can't wait to post pictures, bro.
All right.
What up, Jake?
Jinzo, how we doing?
Good, bro. Got my coffee ready to roll here. I was just saying how I'm headed out soon to go to the big deal of my life. A nice 25K deal. For
Oh, wait, what are you doing?
I'm gonna buy some sealed product for Pokemon, some older sets and stuff from a friend. And
Damn.
I was a little nervous, but last night I was running through all the numbers again, and the box just keep climbing in value. So I'm feeling very good right now, better than I was last week when I started sending the money over.
Nice, dude. Are you flipping? You holding them?
I don't know. I'm probably gonna hold through the summer and see what the 30th anniversary gives me, and then I'll probably sell some into that. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just been nuts because the ones I'm getting, there's really not that many out there. So it's like one or two listings on eBay, and they're like fucking listed for so high, and then I usually see auctions go for them, and they sell pretty high. So I'm not that like I was nervous at first, but I'm feeling a lot better now.
Nice, man.
Yeah, but I know myself, I'm a hoarder, so I'll just keep them forever. And then one day, who knows? Maybe they're worth a lot of money, but there's some stuff I'm getting in double, so maybe I'll feel better about selling those. But the things that I'm getting like one of each, like some of the really expensive sets, it's gonna be a little harder to let go. But I don't know. The higher it goes, the harder it is to sell it too. So I'm gonna have to make a decision on when I want to get rid of it.
Yep. Yeah, don't fall into the top shot trap.
Oh, exactly. Top Shot and NFTs. I fall into the same trap all the time. I need to get over that hump. It's just you need to ride the waves, not just get like stuck holding and being a hoarder. And I've let so much profit slip through my fingers by doing that. What's up with you, man? Everything good?
Yep. Um, sorry, there's stuff in my mouth. Um, yeah, things are good. Some grass. Excited for the fourth. Do some family time up the cottage, up the lake. So that'll be fun
Cool.
this
That's
week.
awesome.
But excited that the market's doing well too. And yeah, man, ready to get into it whenever you are.
Yeah, we can do it.
Let's do it.
GM, everybody, welcome to Joyful June. It's actually Joyful June. We're still in June. Yeah, leading
Yeah.
into Joyful July. You called it, Jake. We're in it. Welcome to Wake and Jake, where we celebrate Joyful June, going into Joyful July. Jake, good morning, my friend. How's everything with you?
Yeah, man, good. Yeah, I made a comment I think a couple weeks ago, kind of in the heat of the war stuff in our trading channel about it. Kind of just feels like Joyful June is gonna get put. It just gets like delayed by a few weeks, given the surprise of what was happening with the war stuff hitting the market. Kind of like honestly, we were looking really good too at the time when that was happening. It looked like all that was coming true with the Joyful June, and then that happened. And since we've rebounded super very nicely from that dip, basically back to right to where we were. And that's a really good sign of the strength of the market. Kind of eating all the negative news. And yeah, I mean, I think we didn't quite get the joyful June, but I think we are going to get that joyful July. Ping, who is the one who coined the term joyful June, has since changed it to joyful July as well. Um, with this happening, he also says um, he it's called Jet. I don't know. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but it's like Jetavana July as well, which I guess is a Buddhist term for like rest or vacation. So I essentially think he's what he's saying is he thinks we'll at least have like the first half, maybe first few weeks of July will be well, and then probably um, we'll get cool off towards the end of it. But so that's kind of what, in general, is how I'm feeling about the market. There was really good news this morning, actually. Oh, I thought I had the tweet up.
On one?
This guy, who is who founded like the biggest RIA firm, which is an investment advisory firm, um, in the United States. They manage $300 billion. He said this morning, that he recommends his clients now to have 10% if they're conservative allocation and 10% of their portfolio crypto, which is a lot for a conservative allocation. Moderate 25% and aggressive allocation 40% of their total investment portfolio in crypto, which is pretty huge. The guy's name, it's oh shit, I thought I had this in front of me. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I'll pull it up.
And we know they're going to be pushing Bitcoin more than anything because that's just been the hottest thing to hold. It's going to be like 80 or
Yep.
90% Bitcoin in their portfolio.
um oh, here it is. Yeah. It's Edelman Financial Engines. He also makes he makes a saying kind of in the same like post about how bullish he is crypto. He says, um owning crypto is no longer a speculative position. Failing to do so is. So that's how bullish he is uh, on it, and it was kind of backed up by other people who are pretty reputable in the industry on like that this guy is like a big deal. Like Eric Balchunas, who works for Bloomberg. He's like the head guy that everyone goes to for like ETF stuff for the Bitcoin and ETH ETFs. He even says like this tweet is quote tweeting this the previous tweet that I just shared. He says, "Holy smokes, this is arguably the most important full-throated endorsement of crypto from TradFi since Larry Fink, who is the head of BlackRock. This guy's Mister RIA manages 300 billion for 1.3 million clients, tops the Barron lists of America's advisors regularly. So advisors all around America essentially like follow this guy and like look at him as one of the best, one of the leaders of their industry. And so they kind of follow his advice a lot of times in terms of like how to allocate for their own clients, right? So there's this not only it's for his $300 billion fund that he manages, but it's for really just advisors all throughout the U.S. kind of looking and seeing this, how like aggressively bullish he is for crypto. I think that's a good thing, especially with more of these ETFs going up. It's a lot easier to get exposure. We just had obviously the news this morning. If people haven't seen that, the Solana ETF got approved with staking, goes live on Wednesday too, so it's getting going right away. Um, so yeah, some really good stuff coming out really to start the week here.
Insane second half of 2025 we're going to get. That's crazy. It feels like we're just ramping up, and then we're just about to like really erupt finally. And usually it is after the halving, a few months after the halving, so we are on track. Obviously, it was very different this cycle, but it's nice to see everything kind of coming to a head here into the summer, and it's just gonna set up September, October, a perfect September, October for us, I think. So let's keep it up. It feels like there's more good news than there is bad news lately on the horizon, and even the war stuff is. I know 1 week made a huge difference. We all saw it, right? But it feels like it toned down a little bit, at least for now. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. Happy. I'm happy we're focused on more the financial side this week and less of the like geopolitical stuff. That really helps our bags for sure. They
Yeah,
waited.
that's a,
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that's a really good point. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's good to be back to that and less political talk.
yeah. It's just it's a mental weight on everybody when these things happen. So it's nice to see that we're shifting a little bit. It's been months if you think about it that there's always something lingering about wars. So if we get a little bit of a break from that, it's going to be amazing for us.
Mhm. Um, yeah, just a couple other things on macro. Just like obviously follow just some normal people that I follow and reference every week, who I think are really good macro traders. Web3 Quant. He's replying to a previous tweet here of his about having a good July. And it says on track, Soul among the majors, meaning Soul his favorite among the majors, and also the big memes. 3 weeks of July, basically saying 3 weeks of good July, which is pretty aligned to what Ping was saying. He thinks at least the probably first half of July is gonna be pretty good, pretty joyful for crypto. And then I'm assuming that they're anticipating a bit of a slowdown, given that it is summer. Can't so it'd be pretty. I feel like it'd be pretty unprecedented for like us to just rip super high throughout the whole summer with how many people are touching grass and kind of away from the markets and stuff during that time. Um, but we can at least have a few good weeks for sure. And hopefully, the rest of the year will be pretty positive for crypto. So that's pretty good. Um, that's what I got.
Joyful July.
Yes,
So,
yes, sir. It's incoming.
yeah, it's
Um,
loading.
but yeah. While we're talking about bigger stuff, bigger majors in alts, obviously the Sol ETF just mentioned goes live on Wednesday. Robinhood also announced today that they're launching ETH and Sol staking. They're making a really big crypto push here. I think they're doing like a big deposit match thing for crypto as well. And then they also announced that they're launching their own L2, um, built on Arbitrum, which I feel like makes it a L3, but I don't know exactly the technicalities of that. And they're going to have tokenized stocks um, on the chain as well. So a lot of really big like crypto stuff this morning for what normally it would be a pretty slow season, you would think. But yeah, excellent all around. Um, Also, just a couple people who I follow who um, reference all the time, but um, a lot of big, uh, a lot of just things aligning. I would say for a good July. Here's Bonk Guy, who I'm sure all you guys know for the most part, who's been one of the main characters for his big like useless shills, but also his big leverage positions, and he's pretty bullish right now. He says a lot of this was like 3 days ago. A lot of altcoins and meme coins look prime for takeoff, which he's been pretty right because in the last few days things have taken off quite a bit. Um, and Also, OGD Farmer is pretty aligned as well. I think this was like 2 days ago. He says alt's looking good here. And he tweeted again about how he's buying some like old dead AI coins and stuff in preparation for an alt season. So just in general, things are looking pretty good, pretty bullish. We might not get any crazy big moves this week, given lower volume that happens around July or around July 4th week. People heading out early for the markets. Friday will be off, but I think just in general, the momentum that we have is really nice right now with the war stuff kind of seemingly out of the way for now and other stuff clearing up. Yeah, it's just looking good. I'm feeling good.
Same, bro. It's nice to see. I expect a slower August than I do a slow July now with all this happening, but it's nice. I mean, give us a little bit of a send off for the summer. Let us make some money, and then we can enjoy the beach. It's coming. I think it's gonna be good. I'm Yeah, alts are fun. I think we're in a good place for them. We just got to be careful because we've seen this before where everybody's so excited about alts and then the actual moves was Bitcoin all along. So yeah, play them, I guess. Take advantage of the swings, but I think in the end, everybody should be with the main goal of just accumulating Bitcoin, which is crazy to think about because last cycle it was not that at all. You didn't want Bitcoin because it wasn't moving as much as everything else. But I feel like a mental shift is very important, and what people need to do is really just consider that Bitcoin is the main coin, and there's not that many of it out there, and it's more real than it's ever been. all these altcoins and stuff, they're fun, they're cool, they can give you good returns, but you should always have in your mind to filter some of that into Bitcoin. You should your focus should be, I need one full Bitcoin. That's that your main focus should be that, and then from there, like you do what you want. But I feel like it's just becoming harder and harder to do, and it's gonna just keep climbing. So why really overcomplicate it? I mean, that's what I've been doing lately. Is just refocusing and not overcomplicating life with altcoins and shitcoins, and just doing a few moves here and there with the main goal of accumulating Bitcoin. So yeah, I feel like that's the plan. We get
I second Jinzo on that. I think everyone's goal should be to have one Bitcoin for their future lives and families and generations.
Yeah, I feel like that's, for some people it looks like a lot. For other people, it's not that hard of a goal. But I mean, as a baseline, it should be the main goal for everybody in crypto to at least have one Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Don't disagree there.
Altcoins, man.
Yeah.
I did.
Anything else on macro stuff? Altcoins?
I will talk about altcoins a bit if you want. Like last week, actually that falls more into shitcoins, but whatever. They're kind of intertwined these days anyway. But our useless call last week, Jake, man, it was on point, bro. Was it last week? Yeah, it was, when we said, 60 million range. If it gets a bit lower, it's an instant buy. And I fucking left the house, came back the next day after not thinking about it all day, and it just kept running and running. I should have bought some useless right then and there as soon as we talked about it, man. It was such a good call, saying how it's gonna outpace Fartcoin. But my cope play of the week was to, you know what I mean? Fartcoin was still under $1, and I said, you know what? I missed useless. Let me just do what I initially thought and buy some Fartcoin. And that's playing out okay for now. I guess that's a longer term play anyway. So that's awesome. But the one mistake I did do, I sold my Pengu for Fartcoin. Most of my Pengu. I took like 2/3 of it. And the minute I did, like, I mean, just a few hours later, oh, by the way, Pengu ETF. So I could have been a little bit more patient there, but you know what I mean? It's just so funny how I've been sidelined. I've been sidelining myself for a while, I've just been taking it easy, not making any plays. And the minute I make a play, the exact same thing happens where big news comes on the coin that I was holding forever. So yeah, still holding both though. I'm happy, and I think Fartcoin is gonna outpace Pengu at least like soon, like midterm. So I'm not too mad about that move. It's just so funny how I could have just been more patient and got a lot more Fartcoin for my money.
Yeah, that's gotta love that, man. I feel like
Yeah,
that always happens. You're holding something for forever and you finally sell it.
yeah, man.
The
Sold it
classic
at
thing.
90
Oh, he
cents.
sold,
Yeah.
pump it.
Yeah, exactly. Sold it at like 0.09, and it climbed up to like 0.15. Yeah, almost in like within 2 days of me selling it. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, useless obviously. I don't know. At least in my timeline for my algo or whatever, like I see it just all over the place. I guess because I probably have
Everywhere.
bomb guy notifications on, and he just constantly tweets about it.
Yeah.
But it's going crazy right now, up 140% from last week. After it was already up quite a bit last week when we talked about it. We also mentioned Chill House last week, which did pretty similar. It's up like 50% right now, but it was up to like 25. I think it got up to like 25 million or so. Earlier, sitting at like 16 million right now. So that cooks a lot too. I'm still pretty bullish on both of them, really, Useless and Chill House. I think Useless still has quite a bit more legs to it. I think people are just kind of like we're just like waiting for a pullback with how much it ripped, but there's also just so much but also like everyone wanted to get in as well, so it just resulted in like a pretty equal amount of like buying, selling. It was just a slow, continuous climb, slow quote unquote, I guess. Um, and now it just feels like people are like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna pile in. It's not actually gonna dip. That seems like it.
Yeah, useless coin feels like this, however you define cycles, this mini cycles fart coin. in something that's really, it took me too long to realize this. It's kind of like a stupid thing, very simple, but it's like, everyone always calls crypto useless coin. Like it's kind of perfect. It's easier to say that when it's 3x on the 2 week or whatever, but it really is like a great narrative.
225 million now, the market cap, okay? Just like in the last couple hours, or in the last hour, it's gone up 25, like 10%, so, or 15%. So it's insane. This thing is unstoppable. I should have just been buying this instead of like focusing on this stuff, like we said last week. But it is what it is. I mean, let it run. People are in. I'm happy for them, and we'll just look up for the next one. Like everybody's just waiting for dips, and I guess that dip at 12 at 120 mil was the last one you were gonna get for a while. Uh, Good times, good times. It is like you said, Joe. It's to me, it's just such a fart coin play, and it's just such an easy play. You don't need to understand it. It just it explains itself. It's just such an easy play and easily memeable, and everybody's behind it. Like Jake said, my whole timeline is useless. A bit of fart coin and a lot of useless on my timeline, and obviously a lot of penguin too because of everything that's been going on. And now Solana too started creeping up into conversation. And back to Solana a little bit. It's funny because I kind of saw this move coming. I didn't see the ETFs coming. We saw it coming from a while back, but I didn't think they'd come now. But as soon as everybody started climbing on Solana the last couple of weeks, I told myself, "Oh my God, they're about to eat so much shit. It's about to go crazy. This coin." And here we are. Like at 138, I saw people like grave dancing on Solana, and I'm thinking, man, these people never learn. They're just gonna be crying in 2 weeks when they decide not to buy at these lows. So, yeah,
That Capo guy, the notable bear, he was calling for $80 to $90 Solana.
Capo. I can't believe this guy's still alive.
Yeah, we got the ETF news like a little less than an hour ago, and it pumped from like 151 to like 160 already. Sitting at like 157 right now. I could definitely see it continue to climb. I think in general, like the implications of ETF has a really nice um cascade effect on the Solana ecosystem. With Solana itself, the underlying asset, doing really well and performing really strongly, people are more incentivized, I feel like, to gamble on like Solana memes, especially. This was like Bonk guy's actually been one who's been talking about this a lot prior to the ETF, in regards to just he's bullish on just the Solana ecosystem in general, and the ETF is one of the factors with it about to be getting approved, and then it obviously did get approved just now. But I certainly agree with that. I think whenever we see like a sustained run on an ecosystem's underlying token, we see the ecosystem itself, get a lot more activity. So I could see, I mean, obviously stuff like useless. I mean, Fartcoin kind of fits in there, but just in general, like the Solana trenches, I think will be pretty decent. At least for the next few weeks for Joyful June. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I even started paying attention a little bit more myself. Where the last few weeks, I just told myself, man, it's just such a risk being there every day. Like you're just gonna lose some money. So I kind of stepped back. But like I feel like I'm getting into it a little bit more, and I also see the timeline in general. People were not talking about shitcoins at all for the last few weeks, and now I feel like they are a lot more. And I'm not talking about the main coins we just talked about. I mean, really like talking about how shit coins are going to do better and how they're looking to get back in, and just Solana in general is going to bring in the normies again. This comes in waves, right? They get wrecked, they go away for a while, then things heat up, they come back again. So I think first we're going to see, like we always do, the main trenchers, like all of us and the people that actually trench every day, start getting very active, and slowly we're going to get the normie crowd filter right back in, maybe even the TikTok crowd again. Who knows? They love to follow trends. So I feel like there is a second move coming for that. I just don't know how long that's going to take for it to actually get going, ramping up. But what we do well here is like front running the move, right? So people in here are probably going to be active way before all the normies even jump in, and that's when the money's really made, when things are just starting off, right? It's not when everything's super crazy and people are jumping from coin to coin. It's really when things start to kick off and we see coins like useless go from 1 million to 225 million in less than a month. So yeah, these coins like that are the reason we're going to get going again. And sure, I see maybe another AI meta coming. I see other another AI cycle coming, maybe other cycles that we haven't thought of, maybe a cute animal meta. They love to pop up again, but I do think we're gonna get another a bit of a crazy run for Solana shitcoins here.
Yeah. Should mention obviously also that Moonshot had their own launch pad. Thankfully, we were kind of all over that in MVHQ and did pretty decently on like their Cabal coin monkey phone that they had launched. But just in general, I think it seems pretty good. I would say for to help bring normies in, since you can kind of just create a coin even easier than Pump Fund, because you can do it with USD, just on an app, and it's almost like making a like social media post. Is how easy it would be. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then they have a mechanism of it has to get to 1 million for it to bond, and then for it to list. And then obviously the creators get a percentage of kickback too of trading fees from their token too. So we're certainly incentivized to launch tokens. So I could see that, potentially helping with, a new wave of volume into the trenches if people are trading heavily over on Moonshot instead of having to deal with Sol wallets and, well, really blockchain in general. They can do it all with Apple Pay deposits on Moonshot, which I wouldn't recommend, by the way, because their fees are ridiculous in my opinion. But it's easier, or it's the convenience factor of it. So
And on a separate but related topic, Jupe is releasing a token deployer tonight.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen. I just saw something about that. I saw that they said it wasn't a launch pad, so I don't know exactly what that means. But I didn't look too much into it. Do you know more about it?
I actually don't have a lot of information about it, but I think you can tell kind of like how Monkey Phone was pumping right before the moonshot tweets about things happening. The same thing's happening with VibeCat right now. It's like up 2x on the 24. So something's going down.
Oh, great shout! I forgot about. Yeah, I have that favorited and just been watching it a bit. Yeah, it's a great shout. Um, yeah. Anything else on meme stuff?
Still down 90%, 95%. I was just looking at my wallet there. Good job, Jinzo. Nice one. I hadn't looked at it in forever, and I'm just looking because we were talking about Monkey Phone and other like platforms and stuff. So I just wanted to look at this fast, and it's not doing good, bro. That man, did he ever shoot himself in the foot and like tarnish his reputation with this platform? Jesus.
Who are you talking about? Oh, Boo. Oh, Boo.
Boop, yeah, dingaling, and anyway, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll find something else to
Big
launch in a
Rare.
couple months. Yeah. But no, that's it for memes for me. I mean, there's just so much to look at right now, so it's nice to see.
I came in 10 minutes late. Did you guys talk about the pump token at all?
Oh
Go
no,
ahead
we
if you have
haven't.
info.
Well, I think, you know, I think it will be good and bad for the trenches through the different stages of it. The latest rumor is July 8th is when pre-sale starts. We've already had one exchange tweet out. I forget, it's called like Unify or something, Hyper Unify something. They tweeted out a picture of the pump token pre-sale. Um, it feels very real. It feels very imminent. Um, the airdrop aspect of it. It seems almost a certainty that there will be some airdrop component to it. That'll be amazing for anyone who's done anything in the last year or whatever. Um, but the 1 bill, the it's all rumors, obviously. But the 1 billion raise before launch, I think, could really cause some dips on chain. Um, I not to be too rainy day parade, but like it kind of it like it it is gonna be the scale of um, other side, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pretty aligned there. I want to be pretty into stables by like the end of the week, I would say. Uh, Not holding too much, especially in case they like announce it, Wednesday or Thursday or something. And then they actually have it next week. But definitely like coming into Monday, I would say. Uh, Next Monday, I'd want to be having at least a decent amount in stables, kind of just ready uh, to buy some dips or to participate in the sale or whatever. We'll see obviously what more of the terms and conditions and stuff look like, but yeah, I think that's a great call to be wary of. Oh yeah, that's all I had on meme stuff.
Give me a sec. I just have a phone call, Jake. Can you take over just for 5 minutes? Thanks, bro. Keep it rolling.
Oh yeah, sick dude. Um, I honestly don't really have much else. We had NFTs next. I haven't really been dipping my toes in NFT stuff at all. Besides just same stuff. Talked about bad ones a lot. Still pretty bullish on them. They've been like very slowly climbing up. That's like the main FP for the Mega ETH ecosystem. And I mean, besides that, I was just like grinding OpenSea farm. It's pretty easy to do. You have to just like swap tokens or buy like a really cheap NFT and then like relist it. Maybe you have to eat like $1 or two transaction fee for these rewards. I've been doing them whenever I remember, and sometimes you can obviously make a little money or you just come out like break even by doing it too. So it seems easy enough, low cost enough. Um, that I've been doing them every week. That's the for those who are familiar. It's the OpenSea. What do they call them? I got a couple chests. Nice. I'm just logging in. Voyages. That's what they're called. Yeah, OpenSea.io/rewards. I would anticipate. I mean, actually, I don't want to even say. I don't even want to guess when OpenSea is going to release their token, because who knows at this point. Um, but you would think it'd be like relatively soon. You think their investors would want to start the vesting period before it's too late. So um, maybe they're waiting for an ideal market times, and maybe that happens in July. That'd be a nice little thing. Oh,
Yeah,
Silva
thank
asked.
you, Jake. Yeah, just in general, you know, Solana looks like it's having a little bit of action on some NFTs. Like Mad Lad's doing well. I think they promised some revenue to holders from their backpack stuff or just some equity. I'm not even exactly sure. Bitcoin down only. Still, all their ordinals are doing bad. The one thing that did do okay this week though was the dog rune. I think they got a listing on Kraken and they pumped a little bit. They're back down again though. There's nothing that can hold up this market. It's actually crazy. Should have dumped that a long time ago. And other than that, yeah, not too much else really. Just sustained moves across the market. I'm actually worried a little bit for the ETH ones, because if ETH does pop up, what's gonna happen. They're just gonna get crushed. So yeah, probably in bad hold. I don't. A lot of people were expecting an NFT run, or some people were hopeful that it would happen, but I don't even know if that's gonna happen really. Maybe some of the art stuff will do okay, but just in general, things don't look like an investment really. Everybody's looking to hold coins or art now, so whatever. Um, And other than that, just the abstract stuff is still doing okay, kind of flat. People are still farming that pretty heavily. It's a little quieter now that it's summer, but things like Gigaverse have new features where you can trade in items for more tickets, and those tickets give you more XP over the week. So if you're playing Gigaverse, make sure to at least take advantage of that. But yeah, that's it. Not much else for me on those two fronts.
Go ahead, Joe, if you have excellent. Yeah, Silva asks my thoughts on Pirate Nation and Proof of Play, which is the studio behind Pirate Nation and the tech they built. Their floor's been dropping, token price. Yeah, I mean the pirate token itself, I'm not super interested in. It just has a lot more circulating supply to be released, and it just hasn't really performed that well since the first initial launch of it. Um, Sitting at what's it at, like 4 cents right now, 40 million. The Pirates, on the other hand, I did not realize how low they got. They're like 0.21 ETH floor for a Founders Pirate. That seems like a pretty good value. To me, I'm not honestly in the ecosystem anymore. I don't really have any more assets. I haven't been playing just because it got too grindy. The game did. Um, but I did farm like a bunch of like the proof of play. And when I was in the ecosystem, I farmed like a bunch of the proof of play points and stuff. So I should get a nice airdrop at least from it. So that's kind of why I haven't really stayed in because I already have like a good amount secured from that. I would say. But that's really the big thing now to wait for is the proof of play because that should be a lot bigger market cap token. They raised really back in like the bear, like I think it was 2023. But yeah, it's pinned on their Twitter. There's $33 million. That's not a valuation, but that's like how much they got. I'm not sure what their valuation was. Probably a couple hundred million then, or in definitely nine figures. And that was like in the bear. So that's where that they definitely have plenty of ammo to keep going, and they're continuing to get to implement their tech into different platforms. A bunch of obviously abstract games are using them. I just saw it looks like they implementing it into hyper EVM as well. So the fact that they are pretty flexible on whatever chain, and they can also be partnered up with a bunch of different their infras can be used really just across um, all the EVMs, it seems. That yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty bullish on them in general. As far as the token, I'm not super interested in, but the founders pyres, I would think would get some type of allocation for that proof of play token whenever it launches. But I have no clue when it's gonna launch. I haven't heard anything latest. Someone like Scott would be one to ask in terms of where they've been. Maybe Cass as well. I think Cass might be still into a decent amount. In-game marketplace too, 2030. Oh.
Close. It's close. Close enough. In 2 cycles, it'll be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 0.21. That seems like a pretty good discount right there on Founders Pirates. That's the lowest they've been in a long time, what I've seen. And they're still like the backbone of the eco. I think just obviously Web3 gaming is certainly down, but I think they unlock more than just that specific game, Pirate Nation. They unlock um, possible rewards for the entire proof of play eco. So I think that's a decent benefit there.
Yeah, and Cass asks about Hyperliquid. I'm still very bullish on it as a whole. I mean, it's good that we got it through that little hype bubble that we were in just because of that guy James Wynn and other people stacking on, and we had our big dip from that, and now it's just been like grinding upwards ever since, like naturally, not just over hyped for nothing. So it's nice to see that we're back to just grinding up and people using the platform and trying to farm it and stuff. So I'm bullish on it. I have a long end actually right now. I told myself it consolidated long enough in the mid to low 30s, and I just put a nice little long in on it because I think it should be up only from here. Obviously, we always get these weird ass dips in crypto, but in general, I'm very bullish on hype. Yeah, well, and I guess the NFTs on there. It's funny because so many have launched and they look okay, and people made money on them, but it just feels like there's no real like drive for them. I don't know, just from my quick view on them. Some of them do well on launch, but I feel like there's no market for it. But I think that's just NFTs in general. So, you know, it feels like people aren't looking to spend their hype on anything, just like they don't want to spend their Bitcoin on anything, and it just leads to, you know, stagnant floors. I don't see really any runs coming for them. It just feels like it's down only in value as hype goes up in price for people that are actually holding, so they don't want to hold.
Yeah, I'm not too plugged into the NFT scene over on Hype. I would say if you're looking for like an ecosystem play over there, I like Lick quite a bit. LIQD is the token. It's Liquid Launch this token, which is like their main. I think it's their biggest by volume DEX. And it also has a launchpad token launchpad as well that's native to Hyper EVM. But they have a really good staking program where they give 100% of fees to stakers. So um, that's pretty juicy, I would say, and that token's been performing pretty nicely. I think it's around like 60 million or so right now. But that would probably be my favorite like hype altcoin. I don't really love any of the memes over there. Maybe Perpcoin, but I don't have any real conviction in the memes right now over there.
Yeah, I got crushed on them. That was just dumb. I should have just held hype. I knew it. It is what it is. We're degens, bro. One day we'll learn that lesson. But again, just like with ApeCoin or any other platform, there's just quick pump and dumps. Everybody that create coins makes fast money, and then you just get caught holding the bag. There's not really that many good memes there. I mean, every chain is for something, and Solana is for meme coins. Hype is for gambling and longs and shorts. Just keep it for that, and just every chain has its own niche. And I think trying to force a niche is not gonna bring in the masses. So you're kind of doing it for nothing, right? Unless you're in and out, just building up that stack really fast. But yeah, every time a new chain launches, it feels like there's this like really short-lived meme coin cycle on it, but it's hard to get people to stick to that chain for memes. Like that's probably the hardest part in crypto is trying to get people to stay there for that, and it just dies. So just go to the chain you know is good at that certain thing and play there. Don't force like long-term plays into chains just because you think it's going to be hot forever when it really isn't.
Yeah, I would say if you're going for like a longer term play on a chain, then like recognize the how early you are to like the rush. I would say uh, if you're kind of on there and you're like in a community that's like forming, but not really no one's talking about it, then maybe that's a decent play. You can get in early and you can kind of sell into a future hype cycle. Like if you were into hype before, it got like that big run up when all the memes were doing really well, and when it was like going up to like 40, when it was breaking all time highs. I think it was like I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago or so. But if you were getting in like at the same time everyone else was getting in, then like just understand where you are at in that life cycle.
Yep, agreed. I don't know much else. I guess I can shout out field reports. I don't think we have too many either, though. Gladiators Hyper EVM that got a nice little refresher there. I guess he posted some more stuff in there. And that's it. I don't see much else. But if you haven't read up on the last couple weeks field reports, there were some good ones. I read a couple of them and I enjoyed the read. So go ahead. There's always something to learn in that section.
Sir. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. Joyful July coming soon. Maybe a little bit of a slower week this week with the holiday, but I think in general these next few weeks it'll be pretty nice for us. Hopefully we get some new highs for Bitcoin, get some people aping into alts, and we have a fun time. But anyone else in the community wanna have anything else they want to bring up?
Sorry about that. I got another phone call. It's something at work. My bad. What were you saying, Jake?
You're good. I wasn't talking to you, so it's good. I was just asking
Okay,
if
good.
anyone.
I heard the quiet, and I'm like, wait, maybe he asked me a question over here. The answer is yes, whatever it is.
I don't know. It seems like the answer is no, actually.
Oh, okay. So no then. Anyway,
But yeah, no, I was just saying all good on my end. I don't have anything else.
same here. It was fun, guys. Really, I love it when everything's nice and bullish, and we get to talk through things. So, thank you for coming out again, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
Solana Summer. Bye.
Solana Summer.
Fucking July. There you go.